Welcome to the Upland Nation podcast. I'm Scott Linden, your host. Glad you could join me. Another great show in store for you. This one years in the making. Rick Smith, legendary dog trainer, among other things, and we'll get deeper into that. After several years of trying, I finally connected with Rick on the floor of the Pheasant Fest and Quail Classic in Kansas City, Missouri. So we'll be doing a little traveling, at least in our minds and our ears. And then we'll be touching on a few other things. I asked you to critique my Invest survival kit and suggest some additions. So we're going to take a look at your ideas there. We'll also, you'll have a chance at that Fur Feathers Friends 4-pack of pointer shotguns and the monthly prize in our word of the week coming up. We'll also, kind of cover a little bit of, I'll call it some language readjustments. Maybe this is the time of year when you work on how you communicate with your dog in the field and in the yard. So all of that coming up on the Upland Nation podcast, made possible by Mid-Valley Clays and Shooting School, TrulockChokes Tubes, MidwayUSA.com, Purina Pro Plan Sport Dog Food, Sage and Breaker Gun Care Products, RuffLand Dog Kennels, and HiViz Sights. Back in one piece from California, boy, was it nice. And, of course, returning to gloomy, cold, but 2 or 3 weeks in the warm California sun, as the song goes, really does the mind a lot of good. I, speaking of that sort of thing, was reminded of how important routine is for our bird dogs, even on a long road trip that's not about hunting. So I did my best, and maybe you already know this, but tried to put Flick's travel crate in the correct spot so that he could relate to it from the home base standpoint. Fed him in the right spot. Learned that the big changes in time zones and area codes can be balanced out by as many familiar activities as possible. So we did some training. We make sure that Flick went to bed at the same time. He got as much exercise as we could get him, and it all seemed to pay off. He's doing just fine, and even lost a little weight. He'd put on a little weight, so now he's back in hunting season shape. I asked you a while back on social media and was fascinated by the questions, comments, and suggestions. I showed a picture, and it's an old picture, and it probably needs to be updated, as does my Invest survival kit for that matter. Invest is in-vest, but invest, the word, probably is a smart idea to use in this case as well. The things that you invest in that will possibly, save your life, make life more comfortable. I like to joke to my wife that, if I'm carrying this stuff, short of falling off a cliff and landing in a splatter, I'll probably be okay for a couple days. So take a look at mine over there on the social media and then see if you agree with some of these suggestions for additions that you have all made. Edward Benedict, maybe over there you need to carry a firearm, I'm not sure. Randy Karst is the first to ask about kind of a black rectangular object that's in that picture. That is, what is that called? It's a fire starter made by Gerber. It's the fancy new wave version of flint and steel, and then you scrape the sparks onto this little white tablet that is probably all magnesium, and it'll even burn underwater. Anyway, one of the alternate fire starters I always carry on top of waterproof matches, of course. Joe Rundell says, get a space blanket. We probably all know what it is. And there is one in there, Joe, by the way. You may not recognize it in its folded up, rolled up, hidden away state, but I've got one, and it is absolutely true. A lifesaver if you need it. I might suggest to everybody, if you have one of those old school space blankets, the kind you got as a Boy Scout, and I still carry that. That's the one I have. But I do check it every couple of years because all those folds end up being long tears after a few years in the package. So check yours as well. Colin Farrell likes a chrome Zippo lighter. They work hands-free. Great idea. Pretty windproof. And also can be used as a signal mirror. Love it. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with repurposing some of that stuff. Other people will carry an old CD. CDs are these things that came along that we used to play music on, everybody. All of those are great signal mirrors. The CD, of course, because it has a hole in the middle, you can actually literally aim it. Anthony Bezinar says gauze and an ace bandage. That's now in the kit. In fact, I use a version of what most people call vet wrap. Ace bandages need another piece, a safety pin or something to clasp them together. I like the adhesive version of that. Kevin Heineman, Scotch for medicinal purposes like snake bites, etc. Yeah, okay. A little heavy, but I get it. Tom Green suggests wire cutters to cut your dog out of a snare trap. I do have a pair. They're not in that kit because they're a little bit too bulky for that, but they're in the vest. And by the way, some folks have learned the hard way, including my friend Terry Wilson of Ugly Dog Hunting. Regular, wire cutters. Some people call them dikes. Some people call them lineman's pliers. They're not going to cut some of those really wicked snares with the aircraft cable. Get yourself a bona fide cable cutter, and you can find them on Amazon. Pretty simple. Dale Whitehurst says a water bottle. Yeah, I think I got one rolled up in there. Maybe you didn't recognize it. No, it's not in there. Okay, but thank you. Yeah, always a good idea. And of course, some way to purify water. Ronnie Zaccarello suggests a little bit of food. Unless you're going to be out there, unless you're lost for more than 3 or 4 days, food is really just a psychological boost. And I get it. In fact, in the old days, hard candy used to be the recommended survival food of choice. Easy, never spoils, etc., etc., and it gives you a little bit of that, feeling that you're not starving, but you won't starve. You can go weeks without food. And finally, Matthew George recommends a life straw. Some way to purify water. In my kit, it is the old school tablets, but I've also got a SteriPen. I've got a couple different kinds of filters for various uses, but don't need them in the little survival kit. The tablets will do just fine as long as I have something to put the water in. And thanks again, Dale Whitehurst, for that suggestion. Yeah, this is a time of year when you might want to stock up on those sort of things. Go through your gear and make sure you got it all ready for next season. I just added, we had a little bee sting episode with my wife's dog and used up the Benadryl in my dog version of that kit. So I had to order some more of that. Anyway, great suggestions for everybody. That's one I would add. That's another kit. Maybe I'll show you a picture of that, and we'll get the discussion going on it as well. Yeah. We are brought to you in part by Mid-Valley Clays and Shooting School. Mid-Valley Clays is sub-gauge central. Yeah, thank you, Dave Fiedler, for turning me on to some great guns. Love my 28 gauges. Dave knows guns and hunting and has a line on hard-to-get shotguns. So if you're thinking about, dipping your toe in the sub-gauge world, Dave's a great place to start. Call him. Go to midvalleyclays.com. Get the phone number, midvalleyclays.com. Start the discussion on what would be right for you. the configuration, over and under, side by side, semi-auto, whatever it is. Dave knows his stuff because he's a professional shooter as well as a hunter. Learn more about all they have to offer. Take a look at what they have in stock at midvalleyclays.com. And like I said, with artful, careful measurement of his food, Flick is right back to his hunting season shape. And that food is, of course, Pro Plan Sport from Purina. It's the only brand that fuels the most sporting dog champions. Yeah, you've seen the print ads. It's absolutely true. It's 100% complete and balanced nutrition for highly active dogs like ours. It tastes great. All you got to do is put that bowl down and see what your dog does. It's obvious they love it, and it works. This part of the year, you might have to measure back a little bit, but that kind of nutrition is critical year-round. So feed the right food, feed it all year. Your dog will be ready once the season launches. Now, through the music, what have I got on my mind? Through the magic of modern technology, let's transport ourselves. Beam me up, Scotty, to Kansas City, Missouri. We're on the floor of the National Pheasant Fest and Quail Classic in Kansas City, Missouri. And after, 3 years of trying?
Every bit.
If you don't recognize his accent yet, you will. That is, yes, it is, Rick Smith. Rick, welcome to the Upland Nation podcast.
Glad we could finally get this done.
Yeah, it's so funny.
And it's been my fault. I forget. Sorry.
I remember last year I was getting out and you're coming into the elevator or vice versa, and you looked at me and said, "Oh, no."
Yep.
But it's, everybody knows a little bit about you and, of course, your dad. And you've brought probably the most notorious calling card we could have for the Smith family. You're wearing it now, and we're going to talk a little bit about that, too, because it is kind of the thing that Delmar really he made his mark on the training world in a lot of ways. It's a legacy that will always come back. Let's just go ahead. Tell me what you're wearing right now, and then I'll tell you a rodeo story.
Okay. I got a Purina shirt. Neat story. I'm very proud of this, matter of fact. Real quick, I'll do the commercial. Purina, I've fed for I don't know how many years. I found an ad that Dad was in a Purina ad. I found an ad in 1952 that my granddad was feeding Purina, which, okay. So, but one thing I want to say about Purina, one, it's real good food. You can take all the feed companies, put them together with the exception of Purina. Purina does more study.
That's what I tell.
Than all the others combined.
Yeah.
Now, along with that, the dog food companies or dog food industry is more regulated than our food. Now, is that scary or what? What do we eat?
Somebody might be working on that right now.
Yeah, right. I think it is. It need to be. You bet. But anyway, I'm sorry it took us so long to get together, and it's my memory.
Get out of here. No.
Oh, gosh.
No, I'm just glad to have you. And and I'll tell one rodeo story, and then you'll tell me about what's on your shoulder there. So the first time I met your dad, I'd come out of the same business he was kind of in back then. And the first time I was listening to public radio once, and you know where I'm going with this story.
Yep.
There was a great show. I think it's still on, and it's called Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me or something like that. And they bring on somebody who's famous for something and ask them dumb questions about something related but not really related. So they bring on Delmar Smith, rodeo gate man, and I'm thinking, what? So that year I come to Pheasant Fest, and for the first time I sidle up and sit down next to your dad. probably at one of your presentations, and I'd say, "Hey, aren't you that famous rodeo gate man, Delmar Smith?" And he was not quite ready for that, not at this event.
Yeah, right.
Is he still doing anything in that world?
Absolutely. They don't have any kind of program they have at the Lazy, he's there.
I love it.
He has, it doesn't matter what it is, he's there. They went automatic, though.
Yeah.
And his seat's still there. No one's allowed to sit there. And he's still, he'll still give people help him up on it because it sits on top of the rope and chute.
Yeah.
And no, that's his. In fact, they got his name all over the chutes now.
Love it.
And picture of it and stuff.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
I miss that whole world. Although I came across another name, I promise not to go too far down this path.
Don't worry about it.
But the first thing I ever did in radio was promote Bob Tallman's show.
Yep.
Bob Tallman, if you don't know that, folks, is one of the...
Great announcer.
Yeah, incredible announcer. First guy to do it on horseback. And what a voice.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Okay, enough about rodeo. Well, no, not really, because around that shoulder there, you've got something that everybody needs to learn about. It's been indispensable in my training career, such as it is.
It's a knockoff of the piggin string.
Yeah.
That they tie the calves down. Now the only difference is when you relax a piggin string, a rodeo piggin string, it'll open up 2 foot.
Yeah.
And this one is, well, I can just pull it out and show it happen.
Don't break my headphones.
Okay, I won't. Anyway, we don't want it to open up. I say we. Dad's one did all this.
Watch here. Now you're down on my cord, but that's okay.
All right, real quick.
Yeah. So it
only opens up about maybe 10 inches or something like that. If it opens up 2 foot, dog just pulls his head out.
Oh, yeah.
And walks off.
Well, and we've even solved that problem to a great degree.
Yes.
With that, and I know this is radio, but this is about a 4 foot long, stiff polypropylene-like rope.
The people that make this are the people that make the regular piggin strings.
Yeah. Imagine a miniature lariat.
Yes.
With a hondo on one end, and the rope comes through that.
When you pull this, it'll make a little sound.
Yeah.
That's where, when the dogs really learn how to work with it, or the people, they'll hear the sound and do what they're supposed to do. All it is just a cue, like me reaching over here and touching your shoulder.
Well, I've always heard that, and I've always heard that sound. I never knew that it was critical, but it really is.
Yeah, I mean, you just go like that, and those dogs, if you're turning, you have them heeling, and you do that, they'll hear that, they'll turn. Yeah, it's just a cue.
Well, it's funny you bring it up that way, and you did this to me. I'm pushing on his shoulder just lightly, but in a lot of ways, those are other cues, and you use a lot of terms that tell us we don't need to talk to a dog near as much as we think we do. But let's remind people, what are we calling this now, and where can we get it?
It's a Wonder Lead. You can get it from Gun Dog Supply. You can get it from Lion Country Supply.
Yeah.
You can get it from Ronnie. You can get it from me. And there's some other companies that are selling it. Yeah,
it's a wonderful device. Mine came from Ronnie many years ago, and I think I've about worn it out. I don't think it's got any flex left in it.
The thing is, as long as you don't get it wet, it'll last years.
Yes, yeah.
Especially for someone even like us, like Ronnie and I and several other trainers, you're working lots of dogs. So as long as you don't get it wet. If you get it real wet, it loses all its body.
I'll be danged.
Then it's just a lead.
Well, that's a good thing to know.
Yeah. I had some people calling up and says, "Listen, these leads aren't holding up." And I said, "Really? What are you doing?" And I said, "Well, we're using them, and then we clean them." And I said, "Putting them in the dishwasher, clean them." And that's the worst thing. Don't do that.
That's classic.
Yeah.
I remember that's like the English butler who, first off, he ironed his boss's newspapers every morning, and then when the guy got a new pair of fishing waders, he'd iron the fishing waders until all of that annoying rubber coating came off.
Yeah, right.
Oh, that's great. Well, we use that that wonder lead in many ways, but for teaching heeling, I can't think of a better device. How would we use that? Because, frankly, that's one of the biggest questions I get. How to get a dog to heel.
Okay. We don't want the dogs pulling.
Yes.
Because when they're pulling, they're instructing you.
Yeah.
And we're just dragging along behind them. Okay. What your end product of what you want to do is once we work them, and I'll talk more about that. They feel this go to tighten, and they know to do what they're supposed to do because they know how to heel.
Yeah.
All right. So teaching them how to heel. In fact, I just got off the stage down there at the Purina stage, and I was working a good little old pointer, little LU bred pointer. And I try to get this so I can show it, just wild as a March hare, about 3 months old, and just happy, wants to get into everything, wants to go everything, wants to pick up everything, all this kind of stuff, and I'd pull, release, and finally, and every dog's different, but in a matter of 15 minutes, I had her healing.
Yeah.
And what it is, they start paying attention.
I get it.
And that's all we're after. It's not, we're not leaning back, yanking on them or stuff like that. In fact, you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Because what we're building towards is like a dog out there, whether it's at 35 yards or 350 yards and whatever, and this preps them that we can use the lowest level of our e-collar, and it's just a cue. So this starts out, they learn what they're supposed to do in the heel, and now we can just cue with as soft a touch as possible.
Yeah. And you're pressing the button on an e-collar transmitter while we're doing this.
Here's a pull, release, pull, release.
That's another cue.
Pull, release, pull, release.
And then and we got a dog on point. We're working a dog on point. We're touching their side once in a while.
Yep.
Now, tell me about that. I've never, well, I have, but for everybody else's benefit.
Yep.
How the heck does that work?
Well, all right. So we go up. They like birds.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've heard. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So we go up there with a check cord or this to begin with. They know how to stand still.
Yeah.
They know what stand still looks like, what it feels like, and how they're supposed to do it because we've taught them to just stand still by just standing still. Yeah. Or on a table or whatever. And we've taught them to stand still when we place our hands on them, not fall apart. Most people's dogs fall apart because who doesn't want to play with their pup?
I get it.
And get them jumping around and stuff like that. So. Yeah. But then you take that same pup to a bird, and then he goes to stand still. We touch him. We've taught him to jump around. Yeah. So we get the complete opposite of what we're after. Oh my. So we teach them how to just stand still. Yeah. Now we can go have this on there, and say the dog goes to move. You can see the movement before any feet move. Yeah. And if we've done our job right, we'll give just a slight tug. A little tug on the wonder lead. But if they're giving into it, not around birds. Yeah. Yeah. Do all the fixing and correcting away from birds. Yeah. And then take all the training to the birds. Yeah. Yeah. So, and eventually, and this is what we're really after, if a dog is standing here beside us or sitting, whatever it is you want your dog to do, and he goes to move, and I can just pull, release. Yeah. Tap or whatever, and they know what it is they're supposed to do. We don't even have to name it. Yeah. In fact, if you want to name it and you keep naming it, you have to always keep naming it. So it's better. All right. So what do we want them to know around birds? If you smell a bird, you stop. Yeah. And you stay there until you're released. Yeah. That simple. It is. I know it sounds it can't be that simple. Well, it really is. Yeah, well, in theory it is. It's all about practice and like they say, practice. Yes. There's a transitional phase, and I talked about touching a dog's flank as another way to steady a dog on point. And then I think some people are using an e-collar on the flank as well. And again, you're saying an e-collar is really just a cue. It's not a shock. That's what we want, is just the cue. I was listening to Tom Dawkin yesterday talking about the e-collar. He says, we want to use the real low stuff. Yeah. And I happened to be there listening. I always try to listen to Tom. Well, I went up there and I stuck it. Who better to steal ideas from? Absolutely. Yeah. I just grabbed it, didn't say a word. grabbed it, stuck it to my neck, and turned to the people. And he knew what I was doing, so then he started pushing the buttons. I can't even feel it.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of level we want. You know, the e-collar's got a bad name because of people that want to use it in anger.
Punishment.
Yeah. Yes. It's a cue. We're wanting to cue them.
Yeah.
And how do we teach that? Well, we go through the whoa. First of all, we teach them how to stand still or sit still, whatever it is you want. Then we teach them on the whoa post. We build that point of contact on the flank. It's not about yanking. They come out. It tightens up around their flank. You stop, and they stand there. After we've done that X number of times, now where people fail on this, they do it once or twice, then they move to the next step.
Yeah, I remember Ronnie talking to somebody about that once, and he said, blah, 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 9 posts a day. And I'm thinking, and how many days? You know, we're talking dozens or hundreds, aren't we?
Whatever it takes.
Yeah.
And the thing is, we'll say a number. The number doesn't matter. It's just a number. Let's say we're going to do it 30 times, not at one time, but several times.
Yeah.
It'd be probably 5 times for the dog and 25 times for the person.
Yeah.
Just to get that soft touch. Yeah. All right, now when that just slightly goes tight around the flank and they stop automatically, now we can take the flank off, and people, when they see that, they want to immediately go, stay in the reps, get better, get better, get more relaxed, get more confident, get more of all the stuff. Now we can go, and when we got the collar around their flank, same spot where the check cord was, they go to move. We touch continuous, just like the cord on the whoa post, but with real low stuff, just like the stimulation I had on the neck. Yeah. It's a cue. Then they stop, and it's through repetition. Now we can turn them loose, and they're running. In our end product, he's got, say the dog's running out there, running his same speed, his same distance, his natural stuff, and we can just push continuous stimulation, hopefully with the number 1. Yeah. And they just come to a rolling stop. Yeah. And it doesn't beat them up, it doesn't booger them up. Maybe I shouldn't say it like that. It's just a cue. Yeah.
Just for clarity's sake, when we're doing a whoa post work. Yeah. And we're talking about pressure on the flank. It's kind of a half hitch. It starts at the collar, goes over and around a dog's belly, basically.
2 things.
Yeah.
If it's a dog that stands, it goes underneath and then half hitches and goes back to the whoa post. If it's to sit, it comes off the top because it has a natural, we'll set them. Like 99% of people will grab the collar, lift up, push down back here. Yeah. Well, that rope coming off the top will pull the neck back here and pushes them down.
Yeah, if you think about how you threaded it through, and I'm sure there's some place where we can see how we do that. Actually, I got a picture in my book now that I think about it.
And of course, underneath pushes them up.
Yeah, so check on how to make that happen, everybody, and make sure you're doing the half hitch correctly. And I bet I learned that the hard way until Susanna slapped me once or twice. But
is she a doll or what?
Yeah.
Oh, man, she is nice. We're proud to have her in our family.
Yeah, and we finally got her out of that lawyer and stuff. And the important work.
Right.
But, okay, so it's about gentle touching, and you mentioned continuous. When we finally do get to an e-collar, it's a very light, continuous stimulation, if we want to call it that. Yep. And when we take our finger off the button, it's got to be the most important part. And how do we watch for that? Because you got a dog on point, starts to move, then we touch. When do we stop touching?
When they stop.
Okay. The moment they are back to compliance.
Now, this is where people get confused. We're going to use continuous stimulation. But you push a number 1, they stop immediately, you let off, says, well, that was a momentary.
Okay.
No, that was continuous. But if the dog would have kept moving, would have stayed on it. Yeah. I'm going to do this. Grab the end of this lead. When we're teaching them to quarter out in front of us, or come to us, it's pull, release, momentary. Yeah. When they're on the whoa post, it's continuous. They learn that. Yeah. Then we'll take the rope around the flank, take it off, put the e-collar on there. It's on the same spot. Yep. They go to move. We push and hold. but lots of times they'll stop immediately, and we got to let off immediately.
Yeah.
Because and people go to think, well, that was momentary. They responded to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, what you're telling me is if I'm going to train my dog, I better pay attention to my dog.
Keep your focus.
Every movement or non-movement. And somehow, you guys are dog whisperers, but what I mean by that is you see stuff that we don't see. We talk about this stuff when we're here and things like that, about how you watch a dog running past you, and you're reading that dog way better than we ever could. But are there, and I've joked about it before, my dog he'll just do this at me when he's running past. It'll just be a little eye,
now
side eye.
The reason he's doing that is because you're seeing it. That's not the reason he does it, but that you saw it because you're looking for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So why did he do that? He's checking on you to see if you're paying attention. So that do I have to listen to what he's maybe going to say?
That's how I've described it.
Yeah.
He's waiting for a cue.
Yeah.
Not quite the same usage, but yeah. So you've seen it all. But we're at about break time here. I got a great question for you, but we'll do that right after the break. Scott Linden here with the Upland Nation podcast. Legendary trainer Rick Smith is with me. We're on the floor of the National Pheasant Fest and Quail Classic in Kansas City, Missouri, with my first interview with Rick, and I hope it's not my last. We'll be right back.
Great.
More with Rick Smith from the floor of the Kansas City version of the Pheasant Fest and Quail Classic. In our Fix It segment, I'm going to suggest maybe it's time to revise the language you use with your dog. And, of course, that word of the week and our monthly prize, plus your chance at that 4-pack of pointer shotguns. All coming up on the Upland Nation podcast after this word from TrulockChokes.com. Well, how much can I say about them, especially these days? All the choke tubes are made in America. They're actually made in Whigham, Georgia, from U.S.-produced steel. Funny how that becomes more and more important as the years go on. And with the highest quality control programs criteria, you can be assured that the diameter of the choke tubes that you purchase will be exact, down to the 1,000th of an inch. And if you're not sure of which one you got in your hand, you can just look on the body and they'll tell you. It's right there engraved on the body. They got a lifetime warranty and a satisfaction guarantee. TrulockChokes.com is where you learn more about how the right choke tubes might put another bird or two in the bag. RuffLand Kennels is our newest sponsor. Welcome aboard and welcome back, Doug and Reed and Elisa and everybody else over there. RuffLand Kennels allow you to create the ultimate travel system. Yeah, and you're going to do it. I'm going to do it. We're all traveling, whether it's down the road, across the county line, or across the country. You want your dog to travel safe? Take a look at RuffLand Kennels. And that is spelled RuffLand, RuffLandKennels.com. First off, a great kennel, safe and affordable, customizable to you or your dog's needs. But then take a look at all the other things that will help. A full lineup of travel accessories that make your life easy, efficient, and convenient when you're on the road. From water devices to feeding devices to kennel pads, you name it, they've got it. Learn more at RuffLandKennels.com. We're back on the floor of the National Pheasant Fest and Quail Classic in Kansas City. With me today at the Upland Nation podcast is legendary pro bird dog trainer Rick Smith. Hey, Rick, did you ever do any rodeo?
I did.
What was your event?
I rode bulls.
That explains a lot. You know, when I was doing that kind of stuff, that's the only thing I did not do, and I live to tell about it. But so did you.
I loved it. I was a teenager.
Yeah.
right out of high
That
school.
explains everything.
And, man, what a buzz.
Oh, man.
my God. I got good enough to know I wasn't good enough.
Yeah. You
And
know,
that's when I quit.
in that world, you know, I looked at all those guys who were really good, Charlie Sampson, Lane Frost, all
Yep.
those from our generation.
Oh, yeah.
They were all so small,
Yeah.
and they got higher points because of that, because it was easy to buck better.
Well, you know, and I'm a little taller than most of them.
Yeah.
Which kind of throws you off. I'm going to make a bunch of excuses here. But then really, I'll tell you exactly when I realized I wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
I was at Maud, Oklahoma. I was at a rodeo. I drew a bull named Rodeo Red. He had been at the national finals the year before. And I was really excited about drawing him because I just wanted to see. I wanted to be it was an RCA cowboy then. And he spun into the pen real tight. He didn't go outside. So if you got off to the side, you're just banging around on the gates and
Ow.
stuff like that. And this is really cool. And he came out and he went into a spin. And boy, I had him at about 6 seconds. And I said, I've got this road. And as soon as I said that in my mind,
Yeah.
he turned back and I
Yeah.
just flopped off.
Yeah.
I didn't have the focus. I mean, the concentration. You can't believe those guys, those good, especially the guys now. I think the bull riders nowadays are 2 to 1 better than what they used to be.
No doubt, but they're real pro athletes.
Oh, man.
And then they have a psychologist who's coaching them too.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Now, the reason I brought that up also, most of the time, people are not staying focused when they're working their dogs.
There you go.
Like you're talking about
Yeah.
your dog. He's going past you, and he's looking at you, and he says, you want me to stop, keep going, go this way, change directions? What do you want me to do? And you were letting him go.
And it's okay to do that.
Yes,
just
absolutely.
shut up and let him keep doing what he's doing.
Let him keep
Yeah.
his focus.
Yeah. Okay.
And like up here, like this morning when I was working some pups, and the demonstration's more about the people
yeah.
keeping their focus.
Yeah.
You know, if something doesn't go right just perfect real quick, we have a tendency to get frustrated, and things fall apart.
Yeah.
It is that quick.
I love it.
Yeah.
Hey, Robbie, come back here. Okay, this is why I love Pheasant Fest. Meet Rick Smith.
How you doing? Glad to meet you.
Robbie's a big fan, and he deserves to meet a big guy in our world. So, yeah, we're talking live.
Glad to have you here. Robert Bird? Robbie. Well, it says Robert right here.
Well, we'll fix that.
Okay. Robert.
He's got a lot of great ribbons below that. He's a real supporter of our organizations.
You are.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
All right. So let's get back to the interview.
Enjoy.
See you again, Scott.
Bye-bye. This is why I love this show.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, we're going down a rabbit hole here, and I apologize, but
This gives us a job.
yeah,
People that want to have trained dogs, people that want to hunt.
Yeah.
People, we've got to have our land.
Yep.
If we don't have a place to go, we've got to be able to conserve. What I've seen, and even in myself, the better trained my dogs are, the less I need to kill.
yeah.
I want to see the dog work.
Well, you've evolved to that point, and I
Yeah.
make a joke about it sometimes, but and I haven't written the bird hunting version of this, but in fly fishing, the first thing you want to do is catch a fish. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Second is you want to catch a big fish.
Yeah.
Then you want to catch a lot of fish. Then you don't care about catching fish anymore.
When you can place that on a dime right over there.
Yeah.
And, well, let's go back to focus again. If you're I want to put it right there because that's where they're at.
Yeah.
That's a perfect spot. It's a little low. It's fresh water going, all this. If you take your eye off of that, it ends up over here.
Yeah, it does.
Or
Yeah.
not close enough, or
Yeah.
too far, or something
Yeah.
like that. We lost our focus.
Yeah.
Almost anything, as we're growing up, we're playing baseball or whatever, keep your eye on the ball.
Yeah.
Well, what could the ball be? The dog.
Yeah.
They're going to tell you what they're going to do before they do it, whatever it is.
Yeah.
If we stay focused.
So if we want to if we want to stay on for 8 seconds and hear the horn, how do we focus on do we just literally stare at him more, or is there something we're watching for? Tell me how to read my dog better.
Well, okay, you know he's going to look at you because he's done it numerous times. the more you're out with your dog, he's going to do stuff that he will keep doing.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, let's say one that wants to run off or run bigger. Usually, the tail will drop, the head will drop, the speed will pick up. Almost immediately, all of it at the same time.
Yeah.
And he's telling you, says, I'm going to go a little farther than what I'm supposed to.
Yeah.
They get in a pattern.
Like a poker player, they have tells.
Oh, yeah.
And we need to be able to read those.
Same deal. You know, I've played a lot of dominoes, like Moon.
Yeah.
Fun game.
I didn't know that was a domino game.
You did? Oh, yeah.
That's a great line in a Guy Clark song, speaking of Texas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I was not a good one, and I would play a domino, and everyone else thought my hand was something else because I wasn't playing the way I was supposed to play. I didn't know what I was doing. They hated to play with me.
Did it make you money or lose you money?
No, I was losing. I lost, always lost. It's fun to do, though.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I love it. You know, so give me some examples of some more of those kind of tells. You mentioned the tail droop, the head droop. You know, what else do we...
Let's walk it up on a doggone point.
Yeah.
Lots of times they'll drop that head a little bit.
Yeah.
You know how we get down in the starting blocks like a sprinter?
Yeah.
The dogs do the same stuff.
He's getting ready.
Or he's getting ready. You're walking up, his tail may drop back a little bit, you go to ticking, he's talking to you.
Yeah.
He's all right, you see it once, and you say, what's he doing? And then he busts his birds and chases them out. Okay, now we know.
We hope we knew.
Yeah.
Make a note of that.
If we're paying attention.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I think that's what makes good dog trainers. First of all, it's fun to learn, and we don't think of it as I'm out here to have fun. I'm out here to hopefully survive and make a living. But we learn to read dogs, and that becomes just automatic paying attention to it.
You know, it's so much easier that, I keep coming back to trying to relearn Spanish. I grew up Mexican. And learning to speak dog language is so much easier than that if we just watch.
Watch the dogs.
Yeah.
You know, every question, every time at seminars or any place, they say, why did a dog do this? Why did a dog do that? What would they do in the field?
Yeah.
Okay. This young one, he's getting in the pack. They kill something, calf, whatever, doesn't matter, just food. And they eat. They're going to take a nap, but no one goes around telling them how great they are. But we come in and say they want us to tell them how great they are, and they fall apart. As soon as they fall apart, they lose their focus.
Yeah.
So, let's talk their language. What's their language? We're going to teach them. We're just out there to teach them a couple of things. If they see a dog on point, you stop.
Yeah.
If you catch scent, you stop. And you don't move until you're told to move. All right, let's talk. Think about the dog retrieving. 99.99% of the dogs, if they don't bring it to you all the way, which is a small percentage, they'll stop out there about 5 foot, maybe 4.5, maybe 4 foot 8 inches, something like that. All right, if you know that, and they've showed it to you one time, the next time they're coming up, soon as they get just about 1 or 2 steps from that spot, back up.
Man, I just wrote that somewhere.
Is that right?
I'm glad I guessed right.
Yeah. And what it does, it's just like without touching them or saying a word, it's just like giving them a yank.
Yeah.
And they'll come right on into you.
Love it.
Yeah.
You know, you touched on something that I don't know how to put it, except that we need to be able to praise a dog. A dog needs to know when he's doing a good job. But like you said, if we're petting him up all the time, he loses his focus. But we got to do something. He's got to get some positive feedback besides holding the bird in his mouth. Because, when I shoot, that doesn't happen very often. So what other things can we do, and how do we do them so that when the dog does good, he knows we appreciate it?
When you, excuse me, think about this. We know it's been proven. They can smell cancer.
Yes.
They can smell a seizure coming on.
Yep.
I mean, we don't even understand scent to begin with.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, if we believe that, and it's proven fact, So there's what is it they're smelling? Okay, let's take that dog that was running hard and he swung and he went on point. You walked up there and you dropped a double and he went out there and brought him in. How do you feel?
Well, I would feel like I better quit. That was a hell of a day for me.
Okay, but we put out some sort of...
I get it. Yeah,
it's smell.
Yeah, okay.
It's
so
smell. They know.
We've already told them.
Emitting
praise.
Okay, all right, let's say we're real angry. Have you ever been around someone
have you ever been around a dog who says, he senses it?
Absolutely, they smell it, I think.
Yeah.
And I'm going because if they can smell a seizure that hadn't even happened, so they're smelling a lot more than what we think.
Yeah.
So if we, your old chest is poached out, and oh man, this is great, I love it. This is what I've been trying to work towards all my life, and I can't wait to do it again. They already know it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we go to them and we are keyed up, and we say, oh man, that's a great job. We're petting them. We're got a high pitch, and they're falling apart. We just messed up their work.
Isn't that
their
wild?
Focus?
That's
my
thought
opinion.
That.
But I'd almost bet on it. I would bet.
Well, you've seen it. I mean, you are studying that, and we're not. We're going just the other way.
I've had, and my wife, if she was here, Kay, if she was here, she's seen it several times. I'll go around someone that's been to a seminar, and they've done a good job with their dog. And there'll be, at times, half dozen, 8 people standing here, and their dog, and I didn't do nothing. And their dog ran up to me and sat at my foot.
Yeah.
They knew where it came from.
Wild.
It is. You talk about make hair stand up on the back of your neck.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of communication going on that we don't really know what it's going on.
And we can figure out some of that if we just pay attention enough. And that's way beyond most other people will ever be.
Yeah.
You do these seminars, you come out here and people put their hands up in the audience, you answer all their questions. What are the most prominent or the most frequent questions you get, and how do you answer those?
Well, probably the most is, when do we start?
Uh-huh.
Okay. And this is, to me, just because I've been there all my life, ASAP. They're a puppy. Let them be a puppy. Probably the most traumatic time a puppy, a dog will ever have in their life is when mama says, you guys aren't eating here no more. That's got to be, wow, the pups, where do we eat now? All right, it doesn't mess up their psyche. It's a fact. It doesn't mess up their psyche. All right, so
they talk a good game, but you're right.
Yeah.
And you've cut cows out too, calves at gathers.
Yep.
Same problem.
Okay, so if everyone worries about, I don't want to ruin my puppy. We're going to make some mistakes. Shake it off and move on. Forget about it. Drop it. Don't say you accidentally step on a pup when you're walking. The worst thing you could do is pick them up and say, I'm sorry. You're telling them something bad happened.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So, oh my gosh, what was it? And you're better off just keep acting, saying, well, I wish I hadn't have done that, and I won't do it again ever the rest of my life. And if you have more pups, you're going to accidentally step on them sometime.
Yeah.
It just act like nothing happened and move on, and it's forgotten.
Yeah. It's not like they have a long memory.
Yeah. Well, we're telling them, hey, shake it off.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I love it. We used a wrestling coach analogy a couple interviews ago, and your coach would say the same thing. Yeah. Tell me about socialization at that very young age. Are there any things that you do that would help us to help our dogs become, first off, better bird dogs, second off, better canine good citizens early on?
Teach them how to handle restriction.
Yeah.
And I know this has got a bad thoughts about it, but from the people that have dogs that fight them, which I just don't go for that at all. I don't like it. I am a dog lover, but you can put a pup on literally at 7 or 8 weeks old, leave them there usually in about 5 minutes, they've given in.
Yeah.
Because they don't know any different.
Yeah.
So they learn to take direction and because they lunge on it, they get a little pull, the same their pressure, the same time, the timing's perfect, stuff like that. So they learn to just lay there and accept.
Yeah.
If they can accept now, and what I was doing with pups down here on the stage, let's teach them something. If you teach one thing, the second thing to teach them is easier, and the third thing to teach them is easier then.
Yeah.
Because you get that willing acceptance. And again, we've got to have a time. We're with our lead. We're going to have them come to us. We're just working our wrist, not our arm, just our wrist. And finally, they give in. We quit cueing.
Yeah.
All right. If we teach them to just stand still, it's easier to teach them how to lead. If they know how to lead, it teaches them easier to go with us. If they're standing still and going with us, now it's easier to teach them how to come to us.
Yeah.
I was listening. This is a real good video to pull up. His name's Robin. I can't remember his last name. He's a horse trainer. He trained the Budweiser horses.
Okay.
And it says, and it's just a short video. You can pull it up on Facebook or whatever you call all that stuff. I don't know how to get there on the phones. But he says, I teach them first. And he says this. I teach them how to go, and I teach them how to come back. The rest of the training is easier.
Sounds familiar.
Robin something. It's a neat video.
No, but you guys talk a good game about that too. There's only 3 things a dog needs to learn.
Go with us, come to us, and be still. That's
Yeah.
your foundation things.
Yeah. So I get it, and we all want that to happen. At some point, we have to say something, don't we?
Well, not really. In a lot of ways, if your dog's paying attention, all right, let's say I've got my dog right here. I'm stopped. He's not supposed to wander off.
Yeah.
So what's he usually do? Lay down.
I've seen that in action.
Yeah. Okay, we get finished here. I get up and I leave. He knows to go with me.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
If he sees, let's go out in the field. And we just turn them, letting them have their freedom, and they're running and stuff like that. And all of a sudden, another dog's pointing over here, and he sees him. He's got one job. That's stop and stand still.
Yeah.
If he's running and he catches scent, he's got one job. Stop. It's the point. Okay? If he's out going straight away, then all of a sudden we've got the fence up there, and it says no hunting across here. We take a hard left, and it's his job to pay attention.
Yes.
To turn and swing and go with you.
Yeah.
Now, if he doesn't, or they want to get out too far, it's what you want your dog. A lot of people say, well, I don't want my dog to do this. Right? Well, teach them not to do it, whatever it is. A lot of people, myself, and I've been fortunate to run in big country. I like my dog to scat.
Yeah.
But a lot of people say, well, I'm in the woods. I don't want them to go any farther from here to across the alleyway here. If that's what you want, let's teach them that. All right, we've taught that dog how to turn with momentary stimulation, which started here with momentary stimulation.
On the lead.
Stand still.
Yeah.
Now we've got a 20-foot check cord. He gets out there at 20 foot. We cue him. We go this way. He goes with us.
Yeah.
Then we overlay it. Now, I'm not saying we do it 1, 2, 3 that day.
Sure.
This may be strung out over a couple of months.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now he knows he gets out at a certain distance and he's doing good, but all of a sudden we're going this way. I'll cue him.
Yeah.
With momentary. Just like here's the momentary check cord, here's the momentary e-collar.
Yeah.
Low level. He gets it, he looks, I'm going this way, he goes to the front.
I use the vibrate function on my collar as a cue for that in particular. Mm-hmm. Because he's just a sensitive little German guy, and he makes a federal case out of everything. But the vibrate does that for me, and I love it for that.
It works good.
Thank you, whoever invented that chip on the machine. The only one I can't quite get is we unload a dog. He's off the tailgate. We're ready to go pheasant hunting. We're walking forward. We don't want him to walk at heel the whole time. How do we send him from at heel to out there into the field?
That's when you tap him on the head.
Okay.
All right. He's over here, and we cue him to go this way.
Yeah.
And he goes forward.
Okay.
Okay. Let's use the e-collar. We got him heeling, and you say it's okay. I mean, what command you want to use? It's
exactly.
Up to you. Okay. Or go on, or sick 'em, or doesn't matter what it is. Really. It's immaterial. Whistle. It doesn't matter. Now, we're going this way. We got to have ourselves going, and you cue him to go on. So, okay, he takes off. Yeah. Where did we first start using that okay? Every time, like my dogs, I open the kennel or the crate.
Yep.
They're not supposed to jump out until
right.
Okay. See, you tie all
Pardon
that.
the pun. Okay, I get
tie
it.
all of that together.
Yeah.
Being consistent.
Yeah.
And focus on it.
Yeah.
Being consistent is one of the worst things we do. Is we're not consistent. All right, now you can go. You know. You can get on out there.
Yeah.
Go on. They don't know.
Yeah.
But if they learn that when they're jumping out of the crate, coming out of the house, coming out of the kennel, okay, or all right, or whatever. If we're consistent. Now we're out in the field and we're walking. You say, okay, he knows to take off.
Yeah.
And the thing is, they're always focused. This is neat. This is what we need to strive for. Be in the moment.
Yeah.
Dogs are in the moment.
No doubt about it. It's absolutely true.
We're thinking, April 15th's coming up, Texas. I got to get a set of tires. The roof's leaking, or I need some. Yeah, we're in a jillion different areas at the same time.
Did you talk to my wife this morning? By the way, we got all of that and more.
Yeah. But dogs don't put up with that.
No. And in fact, I've used the term dogs think linearly. One ends up going to 2 all the time.
Yeah.
3, they think one step ahead.
Yep.
They don't even think one step ahead. They think one step.
Yep.
So if we're thinking that way, and that's harder for us, but that is how we have to train, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yes.
Here's the takeaway I'm going to get from this. I think I think everything we do that might be called a correction or a cue, most of us overdo that stuff. It's a slight tug. It's a gentle pull. Most of us probably use way more muscle power on the physical cues than we should.
Yeah.
Where the e-collar's set. All of those things. If you could leave us with one piece of advice about dog training, just a broad brush suggestion for all of us worst dog trainers, what do you think it'd be, Rick Smith?
Okay, what a great question. Perfect. And this is where we fail. Okay, we teach the dog, and the dog understands whatever it is. Let's say, okay, going out to the yard to go to the restroom. You do that at least a couple of times a day, if not 3 or 4 times a day, coming out of the kennel or whatever. The dog understands it. Now, he's going to test you. When he looks up, are you paying attention? I'll take off a little earlier. They're telling you this. Okay, so then you get ready. Once he pulls it on you, you know he's going to pull it on you. There's no doubt about it. I promise you they're going to pull it. I don't care what dog it is. I don't care what breed, what bloodlines, how the training level or whatever. They're going to push you. Why are they going to push you? Because it is natural for them in the pack. They've got to keep checking that leader every day, because as soon as he starts slipping, the whole pack is in danger.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you say, well, these dogs are all domesticated and they haven't been in that situation for 10,000 years or whatever. That stuff does not go away.
Yeah.
Are you still the leader that you used to be? They're going to check you. Okay. All right. Let's say that's going to happen, and it's going to happen to you. I promise you it will. Okay. So we got our e-collar. If they go to leave, I'm going to low stem. Probably the first time or two, they'll stop. And you stop too. Because you cued them, they saw what you do, and you stop. Then they're going to test you a little bit more.
Yeah.
Now, this is where people fail, I think.
Yeah.
And I know it's not popular.
And sometimes it's over the course of a hunting season is when this
it builds
likely
up.
happens. Yeah.
Everyone says, oh, he come unwound at the end of the hunting. He's coming unwound all through the hunting season. Okay. All right, so let's take that dog. We know he's going to test. We know he understands. I wonder if he really understands. You know he understands. Instead of having that low stem, you kick it up 3 or 4 notches, and as soon as he commits that, low stem him more. Now he said, oh, wow, you mean it today, don't you?
We got to train ourselves.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
You bet. And I tell you what, a real good correction. Oh, good question. Here, actually, it happened at Pheasant Fest here. They had us, at the end of the day, they had us all up on the stage and have questions. And this question, say someone said, and I'd never had the question before or since, and none of the people. This is, how often does a dog need to feel, instead of a 1, maybe a 5? And we all, hang on just a second, I got a cough. All of us. It was pretty cool because we all agreed. You don't have a bunch of dog trainers and agreeing on everything?
No, my general rule is 4 dog trainers, 5 opinions.
Okay, there you go. We said 45 seconds in a lifetime. All right, now let's just keep it easy figuring. So if a dog lives to he's 10, which they live longer, that's 4.5 seconds a year.
Wow.
Okay, so
wow.
So that dog, do they need it? You know, I'm going to go out on a limb right now, and of course this is dangerous, always putting it out like this. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because you end up using it less.
Yeah.
Because they know that you will do it. And if we're going to average it out 4.5 seconds a year, I mean, that is just nothing.
So the corollary to that is, again,
quit begging.
Gentle most of the time.
Yeah.
I have a friend, kind of a mentor, if I can call him that. Thank you, Phil Swain, who reminds us that maybe the word we need to use more often is we need to coerce a dog into doing something. And I said, maybe persuasion is better. We don't want to reason with them. We don't want to argue with them.
Not a debate.
We don't want to instill guilt in them. They don't get any of that.
Yeah.
But it's the same idea. It's not drastic. It's not drastic. It's not over.
Yeah.
It's the other way.
You're sitting there. You're not angry.
Yeah.
There's a plan.
Yeah.
Why we're doing it? We're doing it because we're good people. We're good leaders.
Yeah.
This is not to justify something. We're similar, the same age. I'm probably older. If your father did this, did he have to say anything to you?
Ha! Rick's putting his hand on my shoulder, and it's just a very gentle pressure. I might sit if you push it a little bit more, but I certainly won't run away.
Yeah. Or you'll do what you're supposed to do.
Good point.
Whether that's be quiet, whether that's back, honor. The dogs are the same way. If they know you're going to correct them. But sometimes you got to go to their level of stimulation. I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Some of these dogs that'll hunt all day and knock the pads off and never give up. You see them running in the snow and they're leaving bloody footprints.
Yeah.
I mean, those dogs, they're just tough.
Yeah.
And they're going to take more pressure. They need more pressure. They want their leader.
Yeah.
You know, talk to a bunch of, and boy, I've had some I really enjoy it. A lot of people that's been in the military or special service, I mean the real guys.
Yeah.
And you ask them about leadership, talking about leadership. Boy, it's very interesting. They're out there, the leaders want to go back home and take all their men with them.
Yes. Yeah.
And if they get soft, they may not take them all home.
Yeah. And of course, that is the level that they have to be at.
Oh, and with that being said, and to be a good leader for our dogs, what level is that?
Starting low.
Yeah.
And
show them that everyone understands.
Yeah.
They've got to understand it. Once now we can go to the level we need to go to.
There you go.
And you end up using less. They've got a saying in horse training, or with horses in the rein. If you grab that rein and pull it hard, he's going to rear up, fight with you, stuff like that. The less you do, the more you get.
Yep.
Same deal.
Words to live by from a guy who knows a little bit about what we're talking about. Rick Smith joins me today at the National Pheasant Fest and Quail Classic here in Kansas City. Rick, I can't believe it's been that long. We finally pulled it together. I hope we can do it again soon.
We can.
Thanks so much for being part of the Upland Nation podcast.
I would like to say this. If everybody out there, if you ever get a chance to go to Pheasant Fest, it's worth it.
Absolutely. I've described it as the big kids Disneyland.
There you go. There you go. Yeah.
Hopefully we'll see you here next year or wherever it is next year.
Minneapolis, St. Paul.
There you go. Okay. See you in Minneapolis. Guaranteed to be a good time and really cold.
Thanks, Scott.
Pleasure.
Good.
Coming up on the Fix It segment, well, maybe you ought to take a look at the words you're using and possibly revise a couple to make your life easier and your dog's life way easier. That's coming up after this word from MidwayUSA.com. You know, they've got a constantly growing assortment of dog and bird hunting gear and just about everything you need for shooting, hunting, and the outdoors. You know, on that California trip, I used so much stuff that I obtained from Midway, from the tables that I cooked on to the easy up, you know, the shelters that we could use to keep the sun off the dogs. You name it, they've got it at MidwayUSA.com. Satisfaction is their number one goal. Sign up for emails or text messaging and you'll get 10% off your next order. It's all at MidwayUSA.com. And I had high hopes of shooting while I was down there, but just couldn't find any place to do it. I would have liked to get reacquainted with my HiViz sights. I know I see what I've been missing when I'm using those colored light pipes. You never lose the bead while you're looking at the target. And to me, that means, yeah, two birds, one shot, pardon the pun. But the idea is your mind's eye can see the muzzle. Your eye literally can track the target, put two and two together, fetch. Watch the video at HiVizSights.com. You'll see what I mean, literally. HiViz, HiViz, sights.com. Well, Fix It this week is, for those of us who wish things had gone slightly differently last season when it comes to, I guess I'll call it compliance with commands in the field. You know, sometimes it's not your dog's fault. It's not your fault. It's your vocabulary. Yeah, some words just confuse a dog instead of direct a dog. And I know it may be different in your case, but just think about this because now you have the time to revise your lexicon of commands if you choose to. For example, and this one just comes up more and more often. What's the word you use for asking your dog to walk alongside? Heel? Yeah, it was mine too. But then I realized that my command for a dog to come back to me is here. Now, that one may be not the best example because if he comes here and then he stays here, he's going to walk alongside you. But anyway, you get the idea. Some command words are confusing instead of helpful. When I'm asking my dog to go the other direction, I'll kind of hand signal that direction. I'll say the word W-A-Y, way, like this way. But when I used to release a dog after a command, I would say, okay. And that's close enough together that maybe it's confusing. So I changed that word. Might be fun to put all those together and kind of do a spreadsheet someday, but you get the idea. Now is the time to think about your language and what might be confusing and maybe changing it. You'll have the time to train for it, overlay the new one with the old one that could fix something when you really need it in the field next season. Time for our Fur Feathers Friends Word of the Week. And of course, you're doing a great job, everybody. You're sending me lots of pictures of who you're taking hunting next, and you're telling me who you're taking hunting when you enter the contest. Now, the big prize will be awarded in June, and that is a 4-pack of pointer shotguns. So get ready for that. One way to get ready is to enter for the monthly prizes, and this month, the prize is a day of hunting on private land from landtrust.com. So good luck on that. You got to know the word of the week to enter to win that monthly prize. You're all entered in the 4-pack sweepstakes. This week, the word is retrieve. Yeah, if you got a Labrador, you know that one inside and out, but the rest of us better learn it a little bit better. Retrieve. Go to furfeathersfriends.com and enter the word of the week, retrieve. Good luck. That portion of the show brought to you by sageandbreaker.com, gun cleaning and care, transport and gear transport as well. Just got word that the new range bags are in. Everything's got a lifetime warranty. If you love those range bags, well, you got to take a look at this one. It's an heirloom, no doubt about it. Just got word also, speaking of which, that the gun cleaning, I'll call them bore cleaners. It's a multi-purpose bore cleaner, kind of like a snaky thing, but it's got more to it than that. It will solve most of your bore cleaning problems. They're back in stock. And the only reason I know that is I signed up for their email notifications. I get word before everybody else. Now you've got it, and maybe you ought to sign up as well. Now's the time to restock on all those consumables, from their cleaning, lubricating, and protecting spray to the bore cleaning solvent and the firearms grease. It's all in stock and ready to get your shotguns safe and clean for next season. Learn more at sageandbreaker.com. sageandbreaker.com. Well, if you enjoyed the show, I sure would appreciate a rating or review at Apple Podcasts. That's how we grow around here. Thank you very much in advance. And thank you to all our sponsors. Welcome aboard RuffLand Dog Kennels. Thank you, Purina Pro Plan Sport Dog Food, Mid-Valley Clays and Shooting School, and Shotguns. TrulockChokes Tubes, MidwayUSA.com, Sage and Breaker Gun Care Products, and HiViz Shooting Systems. There's always something new at FindBirdHuntingSpots.com. Take a look over there, including the new bonus insider editions of the Upland Nation podcast. Watch for them there. And thank you, Rick Smith, for being a great guest. Yeah, long time in the making. Glad we could finally do it. Enjoyed the heck out of it. Hey, if you want to learn more about Rick and what his seminar schedule looks like, go to huntsmith.com. huntsmith.com. Until I talk with you again on the Upland Nation podcast or at the range, I appreciate your support. Thank you very much for listening. I'm Scott Linden. We'll see you next week on the Upland Nation podcast.